How you doing, everybody? Ah, hi, Stefan. How's everything in Austria? Hey, Geezer, Donald, Orange Hand. Hey, Bruce. Hey, Dominic. Oh boy, uh, what a day. Hey, Donald, Mark, how you doing? Hi, Eddie. Got two monitors on today, Eddie. One for your schoolwork and one for watch work. Sound and video are good. Thanks, Mark. Yeah, I thought I'd wear my FP Jorn cap today, Geezer. Um, Hi, Mark. Hey. Um, what I wanted to talk about was the new resonance watch that FP Jorn came out with today. It was, hey, Dog Pog, how's it going? Um, I tell you, that is the first real redesign of that watch, I think, in 20 years. I really do think that. The Everything else that I've seen on that watch has simply been a a new dial. Okay, the first one was the two 12-hour dials. Then they went to what I call the parking meter dial. One was 24 and the other one was 12. And then for 2019, they had the 2412 that looked like the original dials. And now they've kept that 2412 dial on a new one. But the big thing is that the movement, boy, they use one barrel and it drives the differential that drives two separate um, wheel trains, which work with separate escapements and separate balances and everything else, and to keep them in resonance so that they have um, the timekeeping function of resonance. The timekeeping function of resonance is to prevent resonance, which is really funny because apparently resonance will, a watch made by mere mortals can get turned zapped one way or the other. I mean, basically resonance can affect your your balance wheel. And with what happens with resonance is that outside resonance usually whacks one and will either speed it up or slow it down, and the opposite to the other one, and then they'll get back in resonance and keep better time. The thing that totally just freaked me out though was having remontoirs, the egalite, not remontoir, but remontoirs. That was what they had, the plural, two of them. Each one has a 1 second remontoire, which means, I think, for a 3 hertz, that means six every six semi oscillations. There's a rewind of the remontoire. Man, I tell you, that just, why do they have to charge so much? I don't have $104,000 for a gold one or $135,000. Now, Bruce has that kind of money, but I don't. So I don't know. What are we supposed to do? Hey, Howdy from Texas. Howdy's another guy. All those guys from Texas are rich. Um, will there be a tourbillon resonance down the line? I hope not. I mean, I happen to really like both the resonance as a mechanical gizmo as well as the Remontoir Galate. And to put them together on the same watch and charge so much they'll never be able to do it. If they stick a tourbillon on there, I mean, that's like sticking a beanie on a hat. It's just like too much. I mean, yeah, putting a propeller on a hat, like those old beanies had. I don't know. Uh, just melt down a few Krugerrands in your horological smelter. Yeah, I could do that. That'll work. It's Mark, unfortunately, that's not unfair because it is takes so much talent. I don't know how many years that it took them to get that. They came out. I have a feeling they were working on it and were planning to have it come out in 2019, and it wasn't ready. And so they had this other watch, the 2019 Resonance, that has the same dials, but it's still the old movement. And I don't know why they did that. They could have just kept on going with the old one that they had before. But I guess a lot of people didn't care too much for the parking meter version. That's what I call it. They don't call it that. I don't know. Oh, what are you talking about goat currency for? Hi, Richard. How you doing? See, I do love the goats, but leave my goats out of this, okay? They're I've been watching. They've been coming around a lot more lately, and they just want to hear watch stories, and I'm busy enough without spending all my time with the goats telling them watch stories. That's it, Mark. Now you got it. But really, it's funny is that here these companies, I tell you, the ones that are unfair is the ones that put in a cheap movement and call it, like this is really good. There are only so many people. I mean, how many of the platinum ones are they going to make? Those are 135,000. They're going to make I think they're making 20. Okay. And a guy I know got one or has one. He's signed up for one. And there's some other special ones too, but that is, you never know. Man, I tell you, wouldn't that be cool though if we could, the tourbillon doesn't do anything for me. I've said that on a number of occasions, but I've got nothing against them. It's a real funny thing. People get all upset, like, I got this watch or that watch. If somebody tells me I can't stand FP Journe watches, so what? It's not theirs. It's not theirs to like or not like. Some people get upset if they don't. Oh, I got a Patek Philippe, and this guy says he doesn't like Patek Philippe, so he's a jerk. He might be a jerk and not like Patek Philippe's, but it's a funny thing is that I could care less if there are two people on Earth who like my Beauvais as much as I do. I'm not wearing it for them. I'm wearing it for me. It's so crazy. There's no, it. Hey, GMT Master and Jip Gauge. Oh man, see what you started, Bruce and Geezer. Leave the goats alone. We're talking about watches here. My poor goats. They got the next time. Hi, Rich buddy. The next time I get a cashmere sweater, I'm gonna wear it. And I'll tell you, my goats would make a nice one for me. For you guys, you have to go with wool. Okay. Hey, Mark, how you doing? Oh yeah, that's right. Mark, good luck with your training thing. Hey, okay, so hey Blake, how's it going? Tell me, what did you guys think of the wait a minute. Hey, Mark Kosmala, deals are getting insane these days. Ended up getting that JLC Master Geographic for 4K. Wow, that is good. That's a really good deal, Mark. Where did you get that? Dual remontoirs, yeah. Um, I guess that would be weird. Hey, Par, how you doing? Finally catching up with your live streaming. Yeah, we're catching up with it too. Hey, Crappy, how's it going? Um, the real, I mentioned the other day. Okay, prices went lower. That's great to hear. I once tried to make a deal on the real, and they don't negotiate. They're basically like somebody gives them a watch and says, "Sell my watch." And so I said, "Hey, tell them I'll give them this for it." And they said, "Well, we don't do that here, but I'll check for you and see." And so they did. And they said, "No, the guy didn't want it." Took them another like a year and a half more to sell it. It didn't probably get any more than I offered. Oh, whoa. Hey, Mr. C, how you doing, man? Um, there were a couple other ones that FP Jorn came out with too. I didn't pay any attention to. Yeah, Mark. Yeah, that's the thing. I tell you, I when I got my I got what watch did I get? I got one of my watches, and it was at a place like. Oh wait, yeah, I know, I did. I got. I think it was a Joma shop or what was the other place at Shopworn? One of those two places, and they had a really good deal. And then they were having one of these. And they have these, like 15% discount or the 20% discount or even 25%. They'll go crazy one day. And man, boom, that's kind of go for them because you can really save a lot doing that. And I think I got the Bugari on one of those and got a heck of a buy on it. Bruce got one too. And so, but I didn't end up with one. Yeah, yeah, you gotta wait for the sales or the thing is, Mark, you don't well, with real you do. I think you have to wait for the sales. The ones that so many people refuse to even try to negotiate. And that's embarrassing, or people don't like it when you do it. I don't care if they like it or not. you know, I like it. Some guys should like it because they haven't been selling a stupid watch. They got a watch that I'm the only person on earth who likes it. And so, because it's not popular, I can get really great prices. Oh man. Um, so anyway, yeah, I don't mind. This is one thing we've got right now. We got a lot of waiting time. I'll tell you though, boy, the days have been just shooting by. Um, I think a lot of people feel, well, I'm locked up, so this has got to be boring. I haven't had time to do anything. I just been one thing after the other, and I got a bunch of other projects I got uh, to work on. Ah, the Tokyo Boutique edition, Geezer, is that the black one? They have friend of mine got a boutique edition CS, and I really like it. But he ended. I don't know if he likes it very much because it's really dark and the lettering is dark and it's hard to read. But it's really I think it can be a very dramatic watch. Hey, Al. Yeah, we have there are no kids here. Our kids, it's what I call payback time. Our kids have their own kids that they've got to put up with. We grandparents ever see a picture of grandparents? They're always smiling on the when they're leaving or when the grandkids are leaving. There's a reason for that. It's sort of like the penguins in Madagascar, just smile and wave. Oh boy. Yeah, Eddie, I've seen they're starting to have fewer and fewer. There are a couple places like the Luxury Well that have. There was this one place in California that I got mine, and Mark uh, went to get one there, and the one he wanted, they said they had sold out. Well, what had happened? It was one I bought, and they never took it off their stupid list. The weather is wonderful here. It's hard to stay locked in. Yeah, it today is very nice. But man, I tell you, we got pollen. My cherry trees and pear trees and apple trees and there's just blossoms everywhere. And I went out walking today, and I'm surprised my eyes are not a bright red because of all of the allergens that are floating around in the air. It's really gorgeous outside. But when it's gorgeous, we can go for a walk. Um, when there's a big crowd on my street walking or riding bicycles, is like, if there were 10 people in the same mile that we walk, 2 miles actually, a mile out and a mile back, we would consider that to be a mob. So that's and then down where they go now, they put in a really nice walking bicycle path. That's where they all go. So that's where the crowds are. We just go out on the streets. There aren't that many cars either. So it's not today was a nice day. Sorry, a bit late to the party, but can someone explain to me what a remontoir d'égalité actually is? I'll be glad to. That's first of all, no, I didn't. I don't know. I have a couple of videos I did on that, so you can take a look at those too if you want to. But a remontoir égalité is this. Imagine this is your mainspring, okay? And as your mainspring unwinds, what happens is that the amount of charge or you start getting a change in the amount of power that the mainspring has. Now, what an égalité, a remontoir d'égalité does is that you have these little springs, a remontoir spring, and the ones that they have on the new Resonance by F.P. Jorn, you got these, and they're little ones, and all I got to do is click a move a wheel. All right, that's it. Move a wheel in the wheel train, and so what the mainspring does is that every second it rewinds this, and so while the power here may be all over the map, this one gets rewound every second. Some of them have different amounts. And so with every 6 semi-oscillations, this thing gets rewound. So every second you have the pressure, the equal pressure renewed. And I don't know why. I just think that's the greatest thing in the world. For it's because it's purely mechanical. All right, there's no programming or anything like that in it. I don't know if that helps or not, Mr. Gumby, but I like them. Okay, what's it going up? Okay, Eddie, you need patience. Okay, those are very rare and go for 100 plus these days. What do you the rubium dowels with titanium case? Oh yeah, the old blues. Is that what you're talking about, Geezer? I've been looking for Mark too. Everyone. Let's see if we can find a good deal for a Moser center second for Mark J. I've been looking at, and I pass them on to Mark when I get them. Fahrenheit 451. Cartier have relaunched the Pasha. Is that a good idea? If you like Pashas, it is. Let's see what's going on. Hi Hans, how you doing? Let's see. Um, Geezer, you said it beautifully too. I mean, that's a really good way of describing a remontoir you got like that. Do you have a particular watch you use in your daily walks? You know what? Yeah, that's a good question. Um, I like to take different watches, but lately I've been taking my Seiko 5 because it's starting to get a little warmer. I mean, like if it's been in the 60s, and so for us that's nice and toasty. And so I thought, well, put the old Seiko 5 to work. Yeah, Seiko 5 loves going out for walks. What I got to do, I've got to get my Calpa with my great big old metal band. I got to get it fixed. The stem slipped out, and I'm pretty sure I know what I'd need to do to put it back in. But what I want to do is I'm going to wait for my 84-year-old watchmaker just to be sure, because he is so good. He can, like I said, he works by instinct, intuition, touch, and sense of smell, just like the pinball wizard. Hey, Dr. A and B. Slightly low today, so locked myself in my music room and played Bach lute suites for 4 hours. Mood improved. Great. That sounds like such a neat idea. I, I tell you one thing I do. I can plug in and listen to music while I'm working. That really helps too. Oh, let's see. Tokyo Edition Renaissance Ruby and dial. Oh, titanium case with gold accents. Ah, okay. Thank you, Geezer. Let's see. Yes, hey, Truth Fears. I'm doing good. I got my walk in. I'm like a dog. If I don't get my walk in, oh, my wife and I, I got my 5K in. So I always feel better that way. I'm pooped, but I feel better. Okay, Remontoir is a perpetual motion machine. Do not tell the oil companies they'll vanish you. I know. I've been watching out for them. You know what else is the oil companies? Ever since we've had our solar panels put in, we had those put in a couple years ago, and our electric bill went down to next to nothing. And so we don't have an electric bill. We got a well, so we're not paying a water bill. It's like we're sort of living off the grid. All we got to do is, you say, well, why don't you give up your electronics? Why? The sun's providing all the power for it. We revere German watches like H. Moser isn't German, is it? It's in a German sounding part of Switzerland, but it's pretty Swiss. Any idea what Germans think is the bee's knees? Ask Abdul. Abdul's German, and so is Stefan. I won't say Stefan is German. He's near German. Okay, I don't know. I guess they're probably like everyone else. They got some they like and some they don't. For the German watches, I like the Dresden watches. There's not a bad one that's come out of Dresden. When you look at Mark, Rolf Lang, Kadoki, and now there's Lang and Hein, but then there's this new Marco Lang. Those I bet are really nice. So that was, I tell you, I really don't care if the watches are from Germany, from Japan, China, you name it. What Maine watches? I like Maine watches, and they're from Malaysia, I think, someplace like that. You get a good one, and there's this young guy in France who really is good, but he's crazy expensive. So they're, it's sort of like brands. Well, if they're Swiss, they got to be this way. If they're German, they got to be that way. All of them have good and bad brands, and every brand has good and bad models. And by good and bad, I mean ones that I like and ones I don't like, or ones I'm not interested in. Most of the watches that I'm not interested in, I do not dislike. Some people go crazy. That drives them nuts. Like, how come you don't like this watch? How come you don't do any reviews of this watch? Well, I will. So, I've learned to like a lot more watches than I used to. The more I find out about it. Yerma, the French company, I like those. Ophion, the Spanish company, they've got some very cool ideas about watchmaking, and I think that that's the kind of stuff I think we ought to do as watch collectors, and looking at the new $104,000 or $135,000 resonance, that's great. It's not something I can uh, really expect to get, but that doesn't matter. I haven't. Something may happen. We don't know. Hey, Al, let's see. Cartier is one of 7 brands that sells over $1 billion in watches and watch sales. Rolex is number 1, but Cartier makes over a year on jewelry. Yeah, I know. These luxury companies, Cartier is, got the big name like Rolex, but I think most people see Cartier as a little classier than Rolex. I'm not saying it is. As far as watchmaking is concerned, there are a couple Cartiers that are really something. One is that Torture that was from about 10, 15 years ago. That was made the movement was by THA when THA was still relatively young. It's got a beautiful movement in it, but the only people that know about it or care about it are watch collectors. The Cartier, probably most of the ones they make money on are quartz, and that's for women's watches. A lot of guys, it's a Cartier. Mm, one of my favorite watches is it's by Arpels, and it's the oh man, some guy really went out of his way to help me say it correctly, but it's the one that's time here and time elsewhere. That one, I love that watch. And it's got an Agenhor, jumping hours, all kinds of everything I like. And it's within hand grenade range of what may be in a budget. All I'd have to do is sell a couple watches, and then I could aim at it. I might do that too because I really like that watch. Moser is 1,000 feet away from the German border. Yeah, I know. They're right next to the waterfalls too. Did they get bombed by accident in the war? That makes them more German. There was a man somewhere from the Midwest who used to make earrings filled with insect feces. Cartier of caca. Oh God! Why? Why would anybody make earrings with bug poop in it? That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Oh, jeez. Oh, man, that's if you have the right to choose the size 40 or 42 on the new chronometer resonance, do you have the right color to be gold? I'd like a gold 40 millimeter, probably. The one I have, the one from 2002, my resonance is 38 millimeter. When they first started back in 1999, most of the watches that FP Journe turned out were 38 millimeter, and I think that he didn't go to 40 millimeter until 2005. My chronomet resonant. My chronomet Sylvain is 40 millimeters. So, you know, 40 is nice. 38 is okay too. But between 40 and 42, I definitely go with 40. Some of my watches are 42 and I don't even know it because they seem to wear small. This one might be 42. I don't know. I'd have to get out my calipers and find out. And it fits fine. It you know, this one is, you can see it this way. This one wraps around my wrist so well with the bow and crown. So it's like nothing. There's nothing sticking out. The same on the Harry Winston. It's got these little swiveling lugs. I think those are cool ideas. Cartier made more money in fragrances. Yeah, that's a big one. We were at there's a certain fragrance that Hermes has, and since they're cheaper than their scarves, that was my treat. The last time we went to Hermes in New York, man, I tell you, you go into the Hermes store in New York, and they've got these guards who are looking at you, and they treat everybody like they're a criminal. They must be having a field day now. These guys wearing all the cough mask. Oh yeah, yeah, the perfume. Hey, I tell you guys, there's if you go to Paris, there's a perfume museum there. Really a cool place, and they have all these different perfumes, and they have some men's aftershave too. But it's a museum, and they show the flowers and the process for making perfume and fragrances. And they have they have this little sample case. You can get, it's like, I don't know, €5 or something like that. And it's got about 6 or 7 little fragrances. Great gifts. So you come home and cousin Mary wants to know what you got her. You can whip one of those out and enhance the story. But Forbin is right, man. That's the luxury business is they make a fortune, and it's usually not in watches. Rolex is the exception, and to some extent, I think Cartier is too. Um, FP Journe, I don't know if you get rich with those kinds of watches or not, because he has to work so hard to keep going. I think the way to make money is make a cheap Swatch or something like that, one of theirs. I don't know. Hey, Pedro, how you doing? I'd love to see a new resonance with precious stone dial, ruby, jade. Man, geezer, what are you going bling? That would be wild. Oh, okay. Hey, Captain Zed, how you doing? Oh my God. I don't know. My wife picked it, Mark. I have no idea what it's called. I got a tie. I got to get a tie. World's most expensive perfume is made from whale vomit. It's called ambergris, I think. It was, what a classy guy. I'd like one of your perfumes made from whale barf. Jesus. Okay, not sure if we can draw any definite conclusion to this, but they are selling, and that's positive. Fahrenheit 451. Okie doke. Terre d'Hermes is good. I'll tell you something. Um, I think it's the Slim d'Hermes. Their Slim has a really good movement in it. Um, they've got Hermes has come a long way from slipping in ETAs, and now they own 45%, 25% of Vaucher, so they can get all the Vauchers they want, and nice ones too. Watching Blacklist. Okay. Oh, the Moses sale on Chrono 24. Thanks, Fahrenheit. I wasn't sure. Yeah, you can buy great things there. The thing to do, you know what? I think I was whining about my bank charging me when I got something on Chrono 24 because it went into the escrow and went into a German escrow bank. And so they decided that it was okay to nail me for $300 for foreign exchange, some stupid thing like that. And so so I'm going to go down there and fix that because that's not right, and it's not right. And then keep money in their bank. They Whenever I tell them that, they start to listen. But so I'm all set to go down there, and then I have this lockup, and I haven't been able to get to my bank and chew them out yet. So by the time I get there, they'll probably say, "Well, that was a long time ago, so we won't do it again," or something stupid like that. But that's not right. That's a crazy amount. Uh, GMT Master. Okay, you found it about a year. Uh, how's the type on your resident timekeeping? Geezer, it is amazing. Okay. Now, let me give you some background on that. All right. In 2017, I sent it to the FP Journe American Service Center. And I wanted them to send it to Geneva because I didn't think they would have somebody there who could work on a resonance movement, but they assured me they did, and they did an excellent job. And so the resonance is now working as it's supposed to be. But in the rotation, it takes its turn like all of the other watches, and so maybe I'll wear like 2 or 3 times a month. And but I had it all wound up and was doing stuff with it today. I'll probably put it on tomorrow. Today I have on my 1930, which is fun to wear. From the pictures, it looks much like a Longines. Oh, come on, Hans, man. People, God, that was almost a year ago. Don and I are we were we used to talk all the time, but I guess people love to remember that. I didn't tear into Don. If I tore into him, he'd know it. Okay, I like Don. He's mad at me though. Eddie, never mind. It's best kept secret. That one, Eddie. you know, God. Yeah, you sure were, Hans. Okay, guys, listen. Oh my God, we went over time, and we're talking about all kinds of weird stuff. So, I got an email from somebody today, and they said they wanted to go ahead and if I was going to get the UWD 31.2, to be sure to let him know that we could go in together. I don't think so. I think, and I'll tell you why. You don't get much of a price break from Voss from UWD from Langenheim on a group buy. You just don't. So it's not worth it. And the other problem that we don't have to deal with is that, you guys are from all over the place. I mean, even England. And so, we, we don't want to send it to exotic places like that. If one person got them, shipping them all over to everyone else is just, that's going to be a huge hassle, not to mention handling everybody's money, which I would absolutely not want to do. I did it once before and I was nervous the whole time. So what we can do is what we decide to get, we can do that pretty much on our own. And then once we decide, okay, we want this, we want that, then I think the next step would be to decide on the case and with any kind of design we have. And then once we get a case, then we can get the dial and Bob's your uncle. We're all done. We gotta watch. Hi, Javier. Foreman, I I was not. Come on, you guys. Jeez. This was, we were, I don't know why. Okay. Uh, Hi, Javier. Does your wife complain that for someone who collects hot you constantly lose track of time? Yeah. No, no, not yet. England and exotic. I think it is. I spent enough time there, so I England's fun. They kept wondering if I were really an American. They said, "Are you Canadian?" No, I don't know what. There's a wonderful stereotype of Americans, and I have a friend. We used to do computing together, and I told him, I said, "Look, if you keep giving me a hard time, I'm going to show up there in plaid Bermuda shorts with some stupid T-shirt and a hat that has a big USA on it." and come on, buddy, let's go. Scared the poor guy. If we live up to our stereotype. Oh, no, I didn't teach at Goldsmith, Hans. My son went there. He finished up his doctoral work there. The comedian Harry Shearer says London is New York City growing up. Yeah. Well, that's sort of an interesting characterization. Uh, if you don't uh, if you don't be mistaken, wear white sneakers. White sneakers. I tell you, I don't try to, but I get mistaken for, I don't know what I walk around and like everyone else when I go overseas, but I'm usually confused for a native of wherever I am, and so's my wife, and I don't know why. I think I look about as American as you can get. Uh, Years ago, when I was in college, I was hanging out of a train on the border between Spain and Italy, and this Italian um, railroad officer. He wore this white uniform. The guy looked like he was just like a movie star almost. So he comes up to me and he says, "You're an American, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah. How could you tell?" And he said, "Oh, you guys all look alike," or something like that. But as I gotten older, he's just some old guy. So anyway, okay, guys. Well, listen, I really got to run. Um, Take care. Everybody be safe. And I'll be back tomorrow morning if you're interested. Bye bye.